I am Devansh, and today I will be reviewing a short story, Lihaaf. Lihaaf or the Quilt was written by Ismat Chugtai in 1942, and it is a landmark short story in Urdu literature. Not only it does offer a bold commentary on female sexuality, repression, and societal hypocrisy, but it also stands as a testament to Chugtai's courage as a writer who dared to push the boundaries of literary expression. If we discuss about the plot of the story is set in a very traditional upper class Muslim household. Chuktai has written it in an autobiographical style. She herself narrates the Lihaf as a young girl who always prefers to fight with her brothers, and that's why before leaving for the Agra, her mother decided to send her to stay with Begum Jan, the neglected wife of the Nawab. The Nawab was more interested in a young man, and that's why uh, he almost abandoned his wife. Isolated and lonely Begum Jan eventually develops an intimate relationship with her female maid Rabbo. Rabbo had no other household duties except massaging Begum. The story is narrated through the innocent and naive eyes of a young girl who is both puzzled and disturbed by the strange happenings under the quilt at night. There are many themes and interpretation involved in this story. At its heart, Lihaf is about loneliness, repression, and the hidden lives of women behind the closed doors. Chuktai subtly critiques the institution of marriage that often ignores the emotional and physical needs of counterparts. Begum Jan's relationship with Rabo is not just a commentary on homosexuality, it is a protest against the suffocating roles that society distributes both to men and women. Chuktai had demonstrated very effectively that how the repressed sexual desires eventually leads to perversion. The author clearly shows that how the Nawab's attraction towards the same gender leads to the suppression of Begum's sexual desires. And her repressed sexual desire translates into homosexuality. It is a thought provoking instance because it describes repression as the reason for developing homosexual tendencies in an individual. In this way, homosexuality is a disease created by societal customs and norms. Because societal rules had not provided Nawab the option to marry within the same gender. By marrying to a daughter of a poor parent, he just discharged what society say his duties. Also, the story implies that there is not a single reason for homosexuality to arise. From the instance of Begum and Rabo, we can interpret it that a person with repressed sexuality indulges with whosoever available around him. But at the first place, we should think for what reasons Nawab had the homosexual urges. This implies that there may be some other factors involved which are responsible for developing homosexualities. After all, Chuktai mainly targets society for introducing perversions. Because for once, we may assume that the Nawab was naturally homosexual, but if the society does not allow a person to be open about it, natural homosexuality will definitely give rise to artificial homosexuality in some direct or indirect way. All the fall is of the society because we also get to know about that the author's mother did not want her to be with her brothers, so she sent her to Begum. This is how the society makes separate compartments for the males and females to keep them apart and promote homosexuality by restricting the contact between both of them from the very childhood. The brilliance of the story lies in its suggestiveness. Chuktai never explicitly describes the acts between Begum Jah and Rabbo, but the implications are unmistakable. This certainly allowed her to explore taboo subjects without overt vulgarity, which was one of the main defenses she used when tried for obscenity. The use of a child narrator adds a unique layer to the story. The young girl does not fully grasp the adult world she was witnessing, but her observations are so sharp and honest. This technique allows readers to infer the truth while maintaining a sense of ambiguity and innocence. Chuktai's language is rich evocative, and layered with irony. Her tone is laced with a wit and sarcasm, and she uses the mundane setting of a household to unravel deeper and darker truths. The story Lihaaf is a very historic in itself because Lihaaf is regarded as a feminist classic and a pioneering piece of queer literature in South Asia. It opened the door for conversations around the female desire and agency in Urdu literature long before such times became the mainstream. Finally, Lihaaf is a powerful, provocative, and path breaking story. It remains as relevant today as it was when first published, continuing to challenge readers to confront uncomfortable truth about gender, sexuality, and the roles imposed by society. Ismat Chughta's fearless voice and literary craft make Lihaaf a must read for anyone interested in feminist literature, South Asian writing, or the story that dare to speak the unspeakable truths.